25-year-old is accused of killing his mother and little brother in Wilson days after being released from prison. Today, we learn more about the victims, identified as Dana Jenkins and her son, Darren.
This is the story of a homecoming that turned into a nightmare. When 25-year-old Deron Dante Jenkins walked out of prison after serving more than 5 years, his mother welcomed him with open arms. Just days earlier, she had posted joyfully on Facebook, "My baby is home. Lord, I thank you." Her words were filled with hope, the kind of hope only a mother could carry for her son's second chance. But within 6 days of his release, Dana Jenkins and her 15-year-old son, Darren Cox, were both dead, murdered in the very home where that celebration took place. What happened in that house on Snowden Drive in Wilson, North Carolina? Why did this fresh start end in bloodshed? And how did a family reunion spiral into a double homicide that would leave a neighborhood in disbelief? This is the haunting story of Deron Dante Jenkins, a man with a troubled past, a mother who believed in redemption, and a tragedy that no one saw coming. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories. A quiet town and a close-knit family. Wilson, North Carolina, sits just east of Raleigh, a quiet, modest city with a population of around 50,000. Known for its southern charm and tight-knit communities, Wilson isn't often in the headlines. But in March 2025, that changed. The city was shaken by a tragedy that unfolded not in a dark alley or unfamiliar street, but in the comfort of a family home. Dana Jenkins was well known and well loved in Wilson.
Don't talk, we just sit back and listen. Then make boss moves. She liked to argue, so I sent that bitch to law school. Preach.
A single mother, she was raising her teenage son, Darren Cox. While remaining in close contact with her older son, Deron Dante Jenkins. Friends described her as a proud and devoted mom. Someone who tried her best to keep her family together, even in the face of hardship. Deron Jenkins had spent much of his young adulthood behind bars. He was arrested in 2019 on charges including robbery with a dangerous weapon and was sentenced to over 5 years in prison. But in early 2024, after serving the bulk of that time, Jenkins was released and returned to Wilson. Despite the difficult road he had traveled, his mother welcomed him back with open arms. Just days before her death, she posted publicly on Facebook expressing joy over his return. "My baby is home. Lord, I thank you." It was more than a celebration, it was a prayer. A mother's hope that her son had changed.
Okay, we ready. We ready. Come on, we ready. Come on, yo-yo.
Raise your glasses.
Daddy's gonna lie.
To this toast.
Is this live?
Uncle Boo, brush your glass.
Come on, put your drink up.
I'm gonna try to
Love is sweet. Love is honor. Oh wait, I know this. I know this.
Oh, hey. Take your time.
Love is sweet. Love is honor. It's better to come in than honor.
That maybe this time, things would be different. For 6 days, the house appeared to be a symbol of new beginnings. But beneath the surface, something was terribly wrong. The day everything changed, March 31, 2025, began like any other Monday in Wilson, North Carolina. Snowden Drive, a quiet street in the southeast part of the city, gave no indication that something was terribly wrong inside one of its modest homes. But by that evening, the Wilson Police Department would uncover a scene that would shake the community to its core. At approximately 5:23 p.m., officers were dispatched to a home in the 1700 block of Snowden Drive Southeast. The nature of the call wasn't immediately made public, but something had prompted a welfare check, something serious enough for officers to be sent out without delay. When police arrived and entered the home, they discovered a horrifying scene. Inside were the bodies of 50-year-old Dana Vanessa Jenkins and her 15-year-old son, Darren Jenkins. Both had died from apparent gunshot wounds. There were no signs of forced entry. No immediate indication of a struggle. Just 2 lives lost, suddenly and violently. As word spread, the community was in disbelief. Dana was a mother. Darren, a high school student with his whole life ahead of him. Their deaths were heartbreaking on their own, but it was what investigators discovered next that would leave people stunned. Who was Daron Dante Jenkins? Before the tragedy on Snowden Drive made headlines, Daron Dante Jenkins was largely unknown outside a small circle of people in Wilson, North Carolina. To most, he was just another young man who had served time and was now back home, seemingly on the path to a new beginning. But that image would unravel in a matter of days, and the name Daron Jenkins would become forever linked to one of the city's most disturbing family crimes. At the time of the murders, Daron was 25 years old. His criminal record showed a troubled past. In December 2021, he was convicted on several charges, including larceny of firearms, breaking and entering motor vehicles, and malicious conduct by a prisoner. These convictions landed him in prison, where he served more than 3 years in the custody of the North Carolina Department of Adult Correction. On March 25, 2025, he was released under post-release supervision. After his release, Daron returned to live with his mother, Dana Jenkins, in her home on Snowden Drive. But that fresh start didn't last long. Just 6 days later, both Dana and her 15-year-old son, Darren Cox, were found dead in their home, each killed by a gunshot wound to the head. And the man police suspected of carrying out the crime was the same person Dana had just welcomed back with open arms, her son, Daron.
Now to a breaking news update. We're learning new information about a deadly double murder in Wilson County.
The man police say killed 2 people inside a home in Wilson last night is going to remain behind bars. A lot of new information coming in. We go to CBS 17's Baron James in Wilson, where investigators say the shooters and those he shot were related. Baron.
Yeah, Bill and Liz, no doubt. Right now, in fact, here's where they arrested the suspect, here at this house, in fact, where we're told that this happened less than a week after he got out of prison. Take a look at this. Wilson police arrested and charged 25-year-old Daron Dante Jenkins with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He's accused of killing his mother, 50-year-old Dana Jenkins, and his little brother, a 15-year-old. Police took Daron Jenkins into custody here at his mom's duplex apartment on Snowden Drive Monday afternoon when officers found the 2 bodies inside. Police had gotten a 911 call that apparently came from another relative. Take a listen. Dispatch calls first coming in.
The apartment, there seems to be blood all over the place. Biz's brother answered the door and there's cleaner everywhere. Biz's mother hasn't answered her phone. He's also en route.
On the car. Yeah, when we got here, by the way, less than an hour ago, these industrial cleaning guys, if you're seeing that video in the yellow suits, were suiting up to go into the apartment to prepare it for deep cleaning, they told me. Daron Jenkins was taken to the Wilson County Jail, held under no bond. Of course, we are working to learn more about him and his now deceased mother and little brother as this investigation goes on.
By the evening of March 31st, Jenkins was arrested and charged.
Right now at 5:30, a 25-year-old is accused of killing his mother and little brother in Wilson days after being released from prison. Today, we learn more about the victims, identified as Dana Jenkins and her son, Darren.
Darren was just 15 years old, a student at Bedingfield High School. Daron Jenkins appeared in court for the first time today, charged with their murders. He remains in jail without bond. Today, crews in hazmat suits were seen coming in and out of the home where this all happened last night.
WRAL's Carly Haynes joins us live outside of that home on Snowden Drive. Carly, you spoke with neighbors about what they witnessed in the days before.
And neighbors didn't know Daron all that well because he had been in prison, though they say when they saw him at home, he'd been acting oddly. Meanwhile, the victims' friends, families, and members of their church are devastated. A church community processing loss.
Lord, you are the God who sees, feels, and hears us.
Through prayer.
Thank you for healing our hearts.
Bishop Sherman Blandon saw Dana Jenkins and her 15-year-old son, Darren, just days ago. And you couldn't anticipate that that would be the last time you would see either of them.
Absolutely not.
He sits with a heavy heart.
I'm sorry, I tried to gather myself. It has been very difficult, confusing, troubling.
25-year-old Deron Jenkins is accused of killing Dana and Darren in their Snowden Drive home. His mother and brother.
When I saw them send the ambulance people back, I knew everything wasn't okay then.
Next-door neighbor and cousin, Wanilla Cornigi, saw police knock down the door and take Jenkins into custody Monday afternoon.
He was just looking strange.
She tells us Deron hadn't been around his family for years, only out of prison less than a week ago. Friends remember Dana as a go-getter with a big heart and bigger smile, and Darren, a Bedingfield High School student with dreams of becoming a pastor.
You knew Darren was in the room. He was the life of the party. He was goofy.
A neighborhood and community resting on their faith to keep them going.
Amen.
And Dana also leaves a daughter behind. Bedingfield High School says their community is hurting and they are going to be having crisis counselors all throughout the week.
At his first court appearance on April 1, 2025, Assistant District Attorney Holly Rabel requested the highest possible bond due to the severity of the crimes and Jenkins' criminal history. Judge Matthew Sperati agreed, setting a bond totaling $2.5 million. As of now, investigators have not shared an official motive. There are no public reports of prior domestic disputes or warning signs leading up to the murders. It remains unclear whether Deron had been enrolled in any post-release support programs, counseling, or rehabilitation services. And so far, no one close to him has stepped forward with insight into his state of mind during those final days before the killings. The facts are chilling. A young man was given a second chance, and within a week, that chance was shattered by an unthinkable act of violence. Now, as Deron Jenkins awaits trial for 2 counts of first-degree murder, the community is left searching for answers. How did this happen? Was there anything that could have been done differently? And how do you begin to process a tragedy that seems both senseless and deeply personal? The arrest of Deron Dante Jenkins has left the Wilson community in shock. A son, who should have been rebuilding his life, now stands accused of brutally ending the lives of his own family. What could have driven him to such a tragic act? Was it the weight of his troubled past, the struggles of reintegration, or something more? And what could have been done to prevent such a devastating outcome? As the investigation continues and more details emerge, the questions only grow louder. How well can we really know the people we love? And when is a second chance not enough? We'll be keeping a close eye on this case as it unfolds. But in the meantime, we want to hear your thoughts. Do you think this could have been prevented? What do you think drove Deron Jenkins to allegedly commit this unthinkable act? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video if you found this case as heartbreaking as we did.